Good to see everyone. We're going to get started. Raise this up just a little bit here. Twin Eagles family, here we are. This is fantastic. It is great to see all of you today. It honestly is. My name is Ian Coleman. I'm the general manager. Thank you very much. I wanted to just take a moment and thank all of you for coming today and for viewing the candidates. I mean, this is so important. This is the new board of directors, and for you to be here and to take the interest that you're taking is just absolutely remarkable. I'd just like to make a quick note here. Any cell phones, if you could put those on silent, that would be great so that we don't have a lot of commotion going on and everything like that. Also, if you'd be kind enough to restrict your comments to any sidebar conversations and so forth. And just have your focus to the candidates themselves so that there really aren't any distractions throughout the room. So that would be very much appreciated. So thank you very much. The last time we met was back on January 15th, and we've accomplished a lot since then. So what I wanted to do was just take a brief moment here and walk you through everything that we've been able to accomplish in the past 9 weeks, which has been a lot. So that's going to be your first slide. We've had 4 meetings, February 5th, February 19th, March 5th, and March 19th. I better get my glasses here so I can see exactly, right now they're just black fuzzy lines on the page. So there we go. Okay. It's much clearer now. What we've been able to do is establish a nominating committee and a legal and bylaws committee. We've shared the 2015-2016 financials, the 2018 budget summary. We've had our RSM, which is our consultant, have their recommendations for the new club tax status, which is the 501c7, which is tax exempt. And we've weighed pros and cons on that, and we're discussing that. We've had the nominating committee announcement as well too. Oh, I'm sorry, the bylaws committee announcement as well too. We've established the election time frame. We've discussed the member roundtables and the implementation of that, and also the timeline for the board of directors. As far as the nominating committee is concerned, the board representatives are Nancy Brown and was Terry Wing, but since Terry Wing has become a candidate, he resigned from the nominating committee so that there was no conflict of interest at all. So the member-at-large representatives are Rosemary Dresch, Jerry Gia, and Jim Mower. The nominating committee will also be overseeing the complete voting process and election process for the Twin Eagles Board of Directors. The Legal and Bylaws Committee has got 8 members. The board members are Frank Johanna and Vic Hancock, and the at-large members are Peter Economist, Ron Filler, Pam Kenny, Jack Murray, Charlie Rhodes, and Liz Wayne. Their primary focus, and what they're working on right now, a lot of hours have gone into this as well, is reviewing and looking at law firms to represent the members. We're also reviewing comparable bylaws of clubs to make recommendations to the board of directors and adapt the new club bylaws. We're also reviewing different contracts and looking at different synergies with the HOA as well too. So with that, this is what you all came for. So this is like the important stuff here now. So Rosemary Dresch and Nancy Brown are going to be our MCs for this portion. And if you could come forward and start this thing off. Thank you, Rosemary Dresch. We appreciate it.
wanted to follow along, they are available. I know you've all read them online before. And they are in the order of the presenters. And we just had a random draw the other day and notified them, so they're not in alphabetical order. It was all random, okay? And so in the 3 minutes the candidates have been allotted, they are going to highlight their qualifications, and if they so desire, they're going to go over some answers to the top 5 questions that came from the membership. Okay, all within the 3-minute allotted time. And candidates, please watch Nancy Brown. Watch Nancy's hand. She's going to give you a 30-minute warning. 30? What a Freudian slip that was. A 30-second warning. I know you all feel you need 30 minutes. Okay. Yes. Well, you know what? I will just rattle them off for you. The top 5 questions which we shared with the candidates are the following. What is your position on changing the 600 golf membership cap and/or changing the categories of membership? Number 2, after turnover, what is your vision for the clubhouse? Number 3, after turnover, what is your vision for the golf course? Number 4, are you in favor of a general manager or a management company? And number 5, do you support members voting on any significant club change, financial expenditure, or incurrence of debt, or do you support a majority vote of the board as satisfactory to take these actions? So we summarized everything that came into those 5 big questions. Okay, please. Now please, I'm going to ask that, because you really don't care what I say, we need to get to the candidates. So please hold all applause until the end of the 23 candidates' prepared remarks. And by the luck of the draw, Jim Sullivan is first.
Does that count? Thanks, Rosemary. My name is Jim Sullivan. Kenny and I built a house on Carradale in 2007. And when the real estate market went to hell, we bought a house in the Estates in 2011, which we love immensely. I think this demonstrates that we are committed both financially and emotionally to TwinEagles and to the future success of TwinEagles. During the last month or so, I have served temporarily on the ad hoc HOA board, committee I guess it is. And the one thing I've learned from that is that the dealings with Ronto Angelo Gordon are not going to be easy, and coordination between the TwinEagles Country Club board and the HOA board are going to be very important. But my qualifications are what I would try to achieve if I were elected to the board, which obviously I would like to be. I think there's 3 points that would represent the planks of my platform. Point number 1 is conservative fiscal responsibility. Point number 2 is member buy-in. And point number 3 is planning. And I'd like to just spend 30 seconds on each one of those. In terms of the fiscal responsibility, I think we should first and foremost understand our numbers. We currently have $10 million in revenue, roughly. That should allow us sufficient cash flow to make many improvements without incurring debt. And I would certainly not expect to incur debt at this point in time, nor would I encourage a special assessment or increases in our dues. In terms of member participation, I don't think we should have, this I wrote before we got the questions, any major expenditure without member buy-in. Second, we should survey the member to identify what their goals are, both in terms of improving the common facilities and the golf courses. We should then try to prioritize those based on a cost-benefit basis and build them into the third point of my plan, which is to have a plan. The club I belong to up north, Long Beach Country Club, a very modest club. He has had a rolling five-year plan for the last 15 years. The results have been terrific. With gradual improvement over the course of 10 or 15 years, you can completely change the nature and improve the nature of the golf experience. So those would be my 30 seconds? Okay, those would be my 3 planks, if you will, on the platform. To the 5 questions. 600 golf memberships is more than enough. The clubhouse, at this point in time, I see no point in trying to improve it. I think it'd be too expensive. The golf course, the improvements that should be made can be made, I believe, with reasonable cash flow expectations. Manager, I'm open on manager, a management company. Regardless, 3-5 years from now, I think we will have a manager. Capital expenditures require your buy-in. Thank you.
David Weather.
Good afternoon. Thank you all for coming. My wife and I bought here in 2015, and we're now full-time president. The turnover is near. We have a lot of groundwork to lay to get ready for the self-government. Fortunately, we don't have to look very far. Our current government style gives us, we can certainly emulate. We only need to improve what we already have on the. Each of us has been asked to respond to 5 questions. I'll take them in what I think the order of importance is. Do you support a member vote on significant changes? Or do you feel the majority vote of the board would be sufficient? I believe governing documents need to protect all of us. And we all need to have those documents require substantial approval from the club and buy-in from the club before we make any expenditures beyond those that are beyond our current operating needs. Are you in favor of a general manager or a management company? I favor the general manager. With a general manager, the club retains control over its staff, over the golf course maintenance, and over our dining operations. At the same time, we then have the flexibility of responding to our membership for any improvements or changes in their request. Number 3, what is your position on the 600 golf membership? I believe we keep the current membership limitations in place. We all bought our homes based on those membership status and criteria, and I think they should stay in place. After turnover, what is your vision of the clubhouse? I'm not in favor of rebuilding the clubhouse. I think if the membership finds the existing clubhouse to be inadequate, then we should seek to rehab or repair what we have, keeping cost to a minimum. A project of that magnitude would require overwhelming support from the membership. Number 5, after your turnover, what is the vision for the golf courses? I love the designs as they are today, and I think that any changes would require, once again, overwhelming support by the membership. In conclusion, we need to develop governing documents to protect the interests of all of our membership. Additionally, we need long-term planning to both identify and to prioritize the repairs and expenses we need to make in order to keep our club at peak operating condition. Electing a competent board is essential to that process. Thank you very much, and I would appreciate you.
Thank you. It is doable. Rory Schnitter is next.
Thank you, Rosemary. I'm Rory Schnitter. I've been a member since 2005. My wife Pat and I are full-time residents on Hedgeland. Membership has identified 5 issues that they'd like candidates to address. I'll speak to the most important one, the golf courses, and I have written comments on the other 4 that you can get at my table. I want TwinEagles to be the best club in Naples. Once we were. Now, we are not. The core issue that holds us back is the lack of a culture of excellence. A good illustration is the way the repair of the support columns for the roof over the water dispensing area was handled. 2 of the columns were more than halfway rotted away. They were initially repaired by filling the holes with binder. That's plastic auto body filler. I took a copy of the building code to Andrea, and then they were correctly repaired and replaced 3 days later. Binder, good enough. I believe that good enough is never good enough unless it's right. We have the best designed golf course in the town. We need to restore it so that it can once again claim the title of the best golf course in Southwest Florida. The restoration of the talent needs to be a deliberate, well-thought-out process. It will take some time and money. We need to identify all the areas that need to be improved. Then we need to prioritize the project that will be required, and we need to develop a plan, not just to accomplish the repairs, but we also plan for ongoing maintenance so we don't let it deteriorate once the restoration is complete. There are a lot of good things about the Eagle, but the Eagle needs some tweaking. There are some design flaws that need to be corrected. There's not enough USGA compliant pin placements on the green. The green complexes on 9, 14, and 15, they need to be rethought. We need to develop a plan for that golf course, and then we need to execute. My vision for the Eagle is for it to be a complement to the talent, different, but fair and enjoyable. We need a superintendent that is fully invested in the principle of excellence. We need attention to detail. During the senior, super senior championship, I noticed that the red stakes on Eagle 14 were so haphazardly placed that part of the fairway was marked as in the hazard. Good enough. We need a superintendent that identifies potential problems rather than one who reacts to complaints. We need a superintendent that understands golf and can see where a bare spot near a green could severely limit a player's ability to make a good shot. We need to establish a culture of excellence where only the best is good enough. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rory and Salaber.
Great start, great start. Hello, my husband and I have been residents for almost 10 years here at TwinEagles. This is our only home, and needless to say, we want this place to be the best it can be. What makes a great club? Well, for us, first of all, it's great friends, good golf, an attractive clubhouse, a variety of activity offerings, and excellent service. And may I say, an adequate parking lot might help. What are the steps to get there from here? Well, after the actual turnover process, this board's first steps entail getting a handle on our financial situation and the condition and repair estimates for our main assets. The golf courses, the clubhouse, don't know about the air conditioning, the roof, etc. Then we need to develop a vision for the future, meaning what do the members want? What are your expectations? Next, we need to prioritize and develop a plan to achieve our vision. Last, we need to start implementing the plan to get there as soon as practical, feasible, and within our financial possibilities. This all requires input from all of you. We will need some outside expertise, perhaps, and competent and capable committees. We are lucky to have great bones. By that I mean, is there a better golf course design than the talent in Southwest Florida. I don't think so. But she needs a little bit of improvement. Our clubhouse phones are great, honestly. But again, some improvements are needed to make it more enjoyable for our growing membership and changing lifestyles today. This club has delayed maintenance, and there have been no significant updates in 20 years. To protect our home values, improvements are needed. No one welcomes large assessments, and we don't know yet what's under the hood. However, at this point, I think we can come up with some creative financial solutions to achieve our vision sooner rather than later. One great way is to drive additional revenue. By being a welcoming place where members want to come up here to the club for drinks, for dinner, for bocce, for cards. We do some of it, but I think we can do better. From my business career, I have broad experience in logistics, strategic planning, contract negotiations, sales, marketing. I have the necessary skills, common sense, and temperament to be an active board member that will listen to what I do and drive the necessary improvements to make this a premier and efficient golf club that we can all be proud of. Thank you. I have prepared the 5 questions, or the answers to the 5 questions.
Thanks, Ann. Next up is Michael Levin.
Thank you, Rosemary. Good afternoon, and thank you all for taking the time to consider me as a member of the initial board for TwinEagles. My name is Michael Levin. Maureen and I have been at TwinEagles since 2014, initially at Covent Gardens and now at Kinross. I'm seeking election because I believe that the makeup of this initial board is critical for the long-term quality and affordability of our club. And I fully appreciate the strong connection between the operation of the club and our real estate values. It is imperative that we run the club with the discipline to protect and enhance the long-term value of both the club and our homes. I believe that I have the experience and approach to have a positive impact on the board so that TwinEagles continues to be operated and recognized as a premier golf community in Southwest Florida. I am a real estate attorney who for the past 25 years has worked in senior leadership roles in the retail and real estate industry, including my own consulting firm. I only have 3 minutes, so I'll quickly review some of the positions that will give insight into my approach as a board member. I believe as we look to the future, the board must remember, become informed, and understand the past and the history that has brought us to this point. And the board must act in the best interest of the membership as a whole. We should not look to make any significant changes during the first year. During that time, we must maintain the status quo until we fully understand all aspects of the operations, financials, and conditions of our assets. While we are doing that, we should establish club governance documents that require a membership vote before any major improvement is made, and create a long-term strategic plan before making any significant changes. On an ongoing basis, I would act with fiscal responsibility, and I would provide strong membership communication and seek membership participation through surveys and committees, among other things. My position on some of the points that were raised, I believe we should maintain the 600 family limit on golf memberships. I support trying to work with our current clubhouse and finding reasonable ways to make it more functional for the membership. I am not in favor of a major renovation or rebuilding. I am in favor of running the club through a general manager that reports to the board. The board is there to set policy and approve budgets. The GM should run the club on a day-to-day basis, and we must stabilize our current staff as quickly as possible. I believe that we must properly maintain our golf courses in a first-class condition, but I am not looking to have the courses dramatically changed at significant expenses to our members. And I do believe that any cost, any major significant capital improvement should be approved by the membership. Obviously, I couldn't cover everything in 3 minutes. If anyone has any questions, please see me afterwards, or feel free to call or email me. I would be honored to earn your vote and serve this wonderful community. Again, I'm Michael Levin. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Next is Sylvia Halliday.
Rosemary, and thank you to the nominating committee, which has done a fabulous job on getting this put together in a really short time frame. And thank you all for coming on a beautiful day to listen to all of us speak. I am going to spend most of my time answering the questions that the membership has put forward, but I do have a couple of opening remarks. And they are that it's my strong belief that the membership needs to be involved in all steps of the strategic planning process. I know there are roundtables scheduled for a couple of days this week and next, or next week and the following week. And I think that participation in that is important, but it's not the end of the story. I think that you all should be involved in the strategic planning process in an iterative way going forward. I also agree with Michael Levin that we need to take the time to understand what we have here in the club. I don't think we have any idea how the money is being spent, what repairs need to be done, and so forth. So we need to give it some time and understand what we have and what our assets really are. And so I'm going to go right to the questions. I'm not answering them all, but I am going to answer what I think are important ones. First being my vision for the golf courses. We are first and foremost about the golf experience here, and it should be top-notch. I am not in favor of changing the golf courses at this time in any major way, but I do think that the talent needs to be spruced up, let's say. It's looking pretty shabby, especially around the greens and the referendum, and we need to return that course to the way that we knew it in the past. And Rory's mentioned changing some of the Eagle greens, and we all agree that they're tough. Some of those greens are tough, and all of us have been Eagle. But it's not a priority for me. I don't think that we should make that our priority, certainly not in the first 3 years. The second question I want to address is my vision for the clubhouse. For me personally, I'm not in favor of expanding the clubhouse. It is somewhat underutilized during the week, and I think that we need to see what we can do to improve it in terms of the decor and making sure it's in good repair. And I definitely think the food should be better. The last question I want to address is whether the membership should vote on the important stuff. And it's absolutely the case that the membership should have votes on all the things that are important. But I think the place for the membership input is through the strategic plan and shaping the direction of the plan and making sure that we have the priorities in place that we want to address together, including the financing. And then I think the board should be empowered to act on your behalf. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Sylvia. Next is Rhonda Gross.
Thanks, Rosemary. I'm Rhonda Gross. My husband is Glenn, and we live on Huron Green, and formerly we lived on Hitchcock. We are currently selling our house because we want to move to something smaller in TwinEagles. I am passionate about TwinEagles. I was instrumental in reopening the club when it was closed by Bonita Bay, overseeing the running of the club, finding the current developer for the club, acting as a go-between between Ronto and Bonita Bay to get the deal consummated, working on the membership plan, and selling the deal to the members who had to be convinced to change their deeds from golf to golf homes. I was on the first advisory board. I chaired the American Heart Association charity event, which was the first time we raffled off a membership, which I procured from Ronto. The community embraced this event. We had over 100 volunteers working on 7 different events. As I said, I am passionate about TwinEagles. I always hoped we would get to where we were today, and I would love to be involved in the giant next step. This will finally be our club. My background as Chief Operating Officer and Chief Financial Officer at Case Western Reserve University and Lehigh University gives me both the administrative skills and financial skills to be on the first TwinEagles board. Please take a look at my background if you have the time. I have been involved in both long-range strategic planning and facilities planning. We are inheriting a 20-year-old asset which will require capital dollars for infrastructure. Once we have the experts, assess our facilities, the planning process will be the first step to determine what we would like to do with the clubhouse, golf course, and other infrastructures. We will be developing a long-range plan and a capital plan with the community with strong member input. And we need to execute the plan on a priority basis. We can't do everything at once. While my personal list might not be the consensus list, I pledge to all of you that it will be the consensus list that I will support and help to implement. I have the ability to take very large, complicated projects and break them down into manageable parts. I'm a can-do person and an excellent negotiator. Many people have asked, should we hire outside management for the club? I'm comfortable with both arrangements. What is important to you and to me is that we get the best services. I have recruited people for key positions, and I have led or been a member of many search committees. I have worked with external search firms. In conclusion, I will help to make TwinEagles into what the members want. I have proven I can do the job. I did it before. Being a board member requires technical skills, and you must have them. But we also need to build consensus to get the job done. This should not be a popularity contest. Thank you. I'd be happy to answer any questions after the meeting.
Tom Peter.
Hello, I'm Tom Peter. My wife Becky and I moved on to Edgestone in 2010. We've seen a lot of wonderful things happen to this community, and it's made both of us passionate, and I would love to serve on the board and help move things forward. When I look at my life and my skill set that I've developed, I think the two most important skills that I have are that of communication and problem solving. I think one of the most important communication skills I've actually taught some seminars on is listening. One thing often forgotten, I think this board is going to have to listen to the membership, build consensus, and move forward from there. The other thing, all of your questions relate to a very key thing, is finances. I've looked at, I'm a CPA by training, I looked at the financial reports that we received, and I have a lot more questions than answers. I think we need to have some experts come in and help us go through that. There's people like the consulting firms that can give us a good idea of where expenses should be on a relative basis. We can make a lot of things. And once we have a handle on the finances, we can then go through each one of these projects that we need to look at. As far as the golf courses, I think the number one asset that we have in here is the golf courses. I think those are also not assets important to the club and to the enjoyment of the membership, but into the value of our homes. If we lose these golf courses, our homes aren't going to be worth much less. The talent, I think, is the best golf course in Southwest Florida. It's old, it needs help. We need to evaluate that, bring the experts in from Nicholas and company to make sure we keep the integrity there. The Eagle also needs to be taken a look at, but again, we need to find the cost of this and prioritize it. The clubhouse, I believe, has great bones. No reason to tear it down and start all over. I think with a lot of imagination, perhaps with a good architect, we can find some ways to increase the capacity of the clubhouse and also to increase the utilization. When you look at a manager versus an operating company, versus having a management company, I'm comfortable with both. I've been a member of clubs that have had both. I would prefer generally a manager where you can, I think one of the important things we need to do is build a member experience. You can build that with a manager, a little harder with a management company. I'm not opposed to interviewing a company and learning what's would be best for our membership. As far as the number of members, when I try and get a tea time in the afternoon, I think maybe 600 could be knocked down a little bit. But I think, again, from a financial standpoint, we can figure out where we are, and then we can decide we may have different classes of memberships. Maybe it's 500 course, maybe it's 550. I don't think I want to increase it, but I want to look at ways that we may have people that want to stay in the community that have been here for years, perhaps don't want to continue with the golf membership. Something to explore, but again, financials are going to drive most all of these things. As far as do we need to have a vote for everything, I think the answer is there needs to be a vote. In anything major, clearly a vote of membership needs to be taken. The board needs to have parameters with it so that they can make decisions. That's it. I'll talk to you later.
Mr. Rosemary, and thank all of you for coming this afternoon. My wife Ray and I have been members since 2001. For my background, you can refer to the resume that was sent. I'm going to address the questions in reverse order today. I do support members voting on all significant club changes, financial expenditure, and incurrences of debt. I do not support a majority vote of the board as satisfactory for any of these actions. In my experience as a member of the board of directors of Point of Words, there's a set amount that the board can spend without going to the members. That amount is written into club bylaws and voted on by the members. Number 4, I am in favor of bringing in a golf management / consulting group to evaluate our present golf and clubhouse operations without hiring them on a full-time basis until we evaluate all the options and evaluate our operation. Number 3, I would envision engaging the Nicholas Group to evaluate the Talon, to make recommendations to restore the Talon to its original design. I would engage Steve Smyers to evaluate the Eagle, to look into specific areas to make the Eagle more player-friendly. Any and all improvements would have to be approved by the members. Number 2, the clubhouse, as well as all Twin Eagles infrastructure, was designed for only 187 residences initially. Soon, we will have over 700 residents. As a result, we need to look at the clubhouse to determine the extent of updating, redecorating, possible reconfiguration of existing interiors to be more efficient. All decisions would have to be approved by the members. And number 1, the group that was elected by the members at that time to negotiate the agreement with Ronto. We fought very, very hard to limit that to 600 golf memberships. Ronto wanted 700, anticipating they were going to build across the street. We stood our ground. I suspect that playing golf is a priority for almost all of us here, and it's not in our best interest or beneficial to increase the golf memberships at all. We are already faced with a tough issue of getting tee times, as all of us know. I want to thank you for this opportunity to speak with you. If you have any questions, I can give you much more detail about myself and the plan. I appreciate it if you would stop by. I appreciate your vote. Thank you very much.
Terry Wayne.
Good afternoon. For those members who don't know me, my name is Terry Wayne. My wife Liz and I joined TwinEagles in 2008, became full-time residents in 2014. Reading my resume, you'll see that I both the work and country club experience to serve on the board of directors. Also, I am generally at TwinEagles about 11 months a year, and we will be available to do the work required for transitional turnover and address any immediate issues. As far as the board responsibilities and member involvement, the board governs the club and must represent the entire membership, golf, sport, and social members, by setting policy. Management is responsible for the day-to-day operations of the club and is answerable to the board for their performance. Member involvement. Members play a critical role in the success or failure of the board of directors in the club. Members need to provide their input to the board to assist them in setting club policy. They need to be proactive. If you get anything out of my talk today, remember, it's your club. A few time-sensitive issues the board will need to address. Immediately after the election, the board needs to hire a lawyer to assist in the transition process, another firm to determine the condition of our golf courses and clubs infrastructure. You have to evaluate our financial position. In the developed 2018 budget, there's a projected $100,000 surplus. The budget, especially the expenses, need to be analyzed. The board needs to develop new club bylaws for member approval. They have to start the process of establishing committees to assist during transition. They have to develop a process to communicate the status of the transition work to the members. As far as the member questions, I didn't answer all of them, but these are a couple of key. With membership, one of my vision of the clubhouse and golf courses, my opinion in a moment. The vision is your decision. Members must decide the club's mission, why the club exists, and the vision, what members want the club to be. and then compare it to what the club is now. Once this is done, in all probability, changes will have to be made to achieve the expectations. These changes need to be prioritized in the strategic plan based on urgency and funding required. You can't do everything all at once, and I see no need for significant expenditures until the strategic plan is developed and approved. My opinion, and this was in my resume, TwinEagles needs to ensure that its golf communities and infrastructure are competitive with other communities in the area. However, what sets TwinEagles apart from other communities are its golf courses. The golf courses must be pristine for member enjoyment, to attract new members, and to maintain our property values. My priority for any significant changes will be the golf courses. Assessments. The board should make recommendations to the membership about assessments for significant expenditures or debt. However, the decision to have a significant assessment is up to the membership. Thresholds need to be spelled out in our bylaws, establishing the level of expenditures and debt that the board can do on its own, and with member approval, such as 51% of the membership, or even supermajority is required. Is that it? Okay. All right. I'll be available for any questions.
Drew Skonberg.
Good afternoon, and thank you for allowing me and the other candidates this opportunity to speak to you today. I want to start today with a question. Who is the professional golfer and businessman who amassed a net worth of $675 million? And what was the core driver to his success? Well, it was the king, Arnold Palmer. His consensus building style of management was the key element that led to his success, something that he emphasized in all of his business dealings. Consensus building aligns with a servant style of leadership. The very purpose and definition of a board of directors is to serve the community and ensure the prosperity of that community. In fact, a study from the University of Illinois evaluated leadership styles. The study supported a consensus building servant style of leadership because it resulted in increased profit, prosperity, happiness, and satisfaction. My background in healthcare was based on a servant style of leadership. This, coupled with my former experience in a self-governed top 100 golf course community, forms the basis for my motivation to help our community. I was asked to consider 5 questions in preparation for my presentation. In the interest of time, I will answer all 5 quickly. During the breakout sessions, I can provide more detail. I support membership voting, period. This includes voting on any clubhouse expansion, golf course enhancements, caps on the number of memberships, changes to membership categories, and large financial expenditures. I am in favor of golf course and clubhouse studies conducted by expert consultants who can propose enhancements with an eye on cost control. These studies are worth their weight in gold. They provide insight and guidance to ensure we make good decisions. I want to ensure we remain a top 100 golf course community and that we are fiscally responsible in doing so. Regarding governance, there are pros and cons to hiring a GM versus retaining a management company. I've experienced both in a former golf community. I can bring that experience to the board if I'm elected. Last, I support town hall style meetings. They provide all members with an opportunity for input. In closing, I ask that you elect me to our board. You have my full commitment that I will be a great team player and work hard for the collective good of our beautiful Twin Eagles. Remember, we're one team, we're in this together. Thank you.
I'm going to take another second, and please turn off your cell phone silent? Thank you. Next up is John McCarthy.
Hello folks, my name is John McCarthy. My wife Linda and I moved into TwinEagles on Wicklow in 2008. We've been here through the bad times, we're here through the good times, and that's what we want to keep going and improve, and everybody, that's why everybody's here. My credentials as a real estate attorney for almost 45 years are in the printout, so you can see what it is. I've done all sorts of real estate construction, etc. I want to address the questions as they seem that's what's important to the members. And like everybody else, I'm going to take the last question first, because I think when I answer that, you'll get the flavor of what I think about all the other questions. It's my philosophy. First, I don't think we can rush into anything. We need to get a hold of the budget that we know is right and advise the members, here's where we're at. We have a strategic plan to do everything. The members have to buy into all of this. I think that the first thing we have to do is we have to know what repairs we have to do with what's turned over to us before we even start any improvements, unless we find we have money that we didn't know about. And then the board has to go to the members, prioritize what the members want. The board then basically goes in, finds the information for the members, makes suggestions of financing, but the members have to vote on it. And that'll go through, that whole membership vote goes through all the other questions. The 600 membership cap, I don't want to increase it. And at this point, I don't think until we know what budgets are, we can make any changes in the membership categories. Clubhouse, they say we repair whatever needs to be fixed. I'm not in favor of enlarging it. I think the focus should be on getting a great dining program going here so that the members come, and maybe it will be too crowded then, but right now I don't think it is. Golf courses, I'm in favor of updating the talent, not in favor of doing anything on the Eagle at this point. General manager, I think I prefer general manager, but open to see what happens on the other end. In closing, I would like to say the last time I spoke in this room was my daughter's rehearsal dinner in July. And I got up to speak to a lot of outsiders, and my daughter looked up at me and said, "Dad, don't screw this up." I think that goes for all of us and all of you. This is the time to make that decision.
We are halfway through. Doug Tatters is next.
Thank you. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for the opportunity to speak to you. My wife, Deb, and I feel very fortunate to have selected TwinEagles as the golf community to spend our retirement years. The warmth of members and sense of community and social activities has been a very rewarding experience for us. So with turnover comes change, and after hearing rumors of how some members want dramatic change like building a new clubhouse, I felt it was important that I put my name forward and utilized some time, energy, and skills to assist the club in preserving what we see as a very enviable current and establishing very important initial governance structures and hopefully avoiding assessments. I'm not saying that we don't need improvements. However, we need to first assess where we are at from a financial, operational, and infrastructure perspective. I would support the immediate hiring of a law firm to review our situation and advise on our rights and appropriate course of action with turnover. Although the documents indicate the club gets transferred to the members as is a gray area, and the developer must have managed the facility with the appropriate duty of care and related ongoing maintenance. Therefore, I would also suggest an engineering study to be completed to ensure that we fully understand the current state of our facilities. The results of this study will be an invaluable tool as we develop the long-range plan for our community. As another early initiative, I would encourage a detailed member survey to get your views. Your views will drive the board's direction. I would also recommend we establish committees of the board to assist in managing all of the key areas. This would be legal and bylaws, audit and finance, operations, and engineering committees. We have a lot of very talented members that I believe are willing to volunteer their time, and with more involved, we will have a better result and a closer-knit community. My relevant experience includes working at Coopers & Lybrand, now Price Waterhouse, for about 9 years, where I focused on providing financial and advisory services for small and mid-market clients. Then in 1996, I joined Magna International, a manufacturer of OEM automotive parts, which at the time had sales of $6 billion in a senior financial role. Well, it was quite a journey, and after about 20 years, primarily in CFO roles, I retired over a year ago as Magna approached $40 billion in revenue and is the third largest automotive supplier in the world. My responsibilities in many of these positions included leading areas of strategic and business planning. So in summary, I believe we have to be focused, fiscally responsible, and at the same time be member focused. I've prepared a summary of my work experience and detailed answers to the 5 questions that I share with you at the Q&A period. Thank you, look forward to serving you.
Ralph Gusmus.
Hello, my name is Ralph Gusmus. I'm from Memphis. I'm resident on Wisteria. We love this community and want to continue to see it to operate just as it is now and to improve everything we talk about. I'd like to talk about the questions they had, come right straight to those. I propose to increasing membership. I don't see where we need to make any changes to the membership forms. We all bought in just like it is right now, and I don't see where we need to go change anything right now. Vision for the clubhouse. I'll get into that in just a minute. The basis of where we are with the vision for the clubhouse is the finances. The finances of this club, this is the first year we've shown a profit. We were projected to have a profit of $90,000. I understand that $90,000 includes $200,000 worth of revenue we're getting from hurricane insurance from last year. We're still losing money. So I don't know where we're really going here and say, have a great vision for our clubhouse or a great vision for changes of the golf courses. I don't know where we're going to get the money to do it. Not with that assessment and major changes. So we've got to get our hands around these dollars before we know what we can really do. The general management. I would like to keep the general manager together. He is a great man. We've got good people, and I think the club is properly run. I think we just go forward, tweak what we need to tweak, see what we can do. It's going to take a year or two before we really get our hands on this thing, get us a program developed that we can progress with and make any changes after that. The membership vote, absolutely. I think the membership ought to have the absolute vote on what we do. I think the board needs to have some limit on what we do. Say $2,000 or some number that the board can assess for emergencies without having to go to the time of a vote. You got a collapsed wall on one of the retaining walls up there, and you need a few $100,000 to do it. They've got to be able to get some money to do it. But over that, I just don't think that we ought to do it without a vote. Thank you very much. Not really, but
Pay no attention to that last time.
I'm a teacher, and I know you guys have been sitting here for 42 minutes, so stand up. Come on, stretch out. I don't know about you, but I thought my legs were going to fall asleep. Stretch out. Don't start that 3-minute challenge. Okay, have a seat. That's enough. All you kids with the cell phones, turn those off or else. And Nigel, find out who's voting for me and give him a free beer. Yep. You know what? I'm just going to answer the 5 questions real quick. I think just like everybody else, I believe our membership should stay at 600, cap at 600. That's why I came here. I was in a course that kept from increasing numbers, lost tee times. They kept allowing tees or people to play longer, 4 hours and 10 minutes and 20 minutes. And when you do that, you lose more tee times and more opportunities. So I'm a big proponent of 4-hour rounds and 600 members. I don't believe we need a new clubhouse. I'd love to see us expand our veranda or whatever you call this here over to the side and have a little bit more. Increase, do what we have to do in our clubhouse or in our locker rooms. I'd love to see that happen. Our golf courses should be recognized as 2 of the finest golf courses in Naples. Are they? I'm not sure they are. Actually, I played a couple of courses in the past couple of weeks. They're awesome. But I think they should be, and I think they will be once our board takes over. You know, people have good and bad stories about golf management companies and general managers, and I went through a disaster with general managers. But I really think that if we allow, I don't know if Ian's going to stay with us, but I think if we allow Ian to stay with us, that's important for a transition period. I think he's a great guy. I think he'd do great here. But if it doesn't work out, then I think we bring somebody in. But that's a decision that we make as a group. All majors, everybody said the same thing. I don't think anybody said, I was going to stand up and say, I should be able to, no, I'm just kidding. All of our major decisions should be made by you guys in a vote on major aspects of the community. They have to be. That's why we all came here. If you allow 9 people to make a decision that's going to change your lives, that'd be a disaster for all of us. You guys know that. You know, it's kind of goofy, because I know your preference for a board member might influence your voting for me, but my votes on the board are going to reflect your preferences, and that's the easiest way to put it. I got on the board, just I can't remember who said earlier, you know what, I've seen boards, I've mostly been involved with school boards, where people wanted to control things. I'm going to be in a position of governance, govern and to make us become a better community and a great community. Very simply, I'm a retired teacher, coach, educator, principal, president of a private school. I love being here. Thanks for listening.
Philip Frazier.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for being here. My name is Philip Frazier. My wife Connie and I moved here in 2016, immediately following my retirement. I retired after spending nearly 30 years as a federal judge in the United States District Court for the Southern District of Illinois. A couple of skills I developed in that role I think will transfer very nicely to being board member here at TwinEagles. Being a judge is about making decisions. That's what we do every day. A lot of those are very difficult decisions, and almost all of them affected people, and some dramatically. Being able to make decisions is a skill, and I think that will be very useful. Another thing that will be very useful is I specialize in mediation. Mediation is about bringing people with divergent opinions, people who can't agree on something, to a point where they can agree. And I think that that's going to be very helpful going forward as a club. I think there's, what I've heard here so far, we're having a lot of unanimity, and I like that a lot. You know, making good decisions as a judge is about collecting good information. The only thing I can say for absolutely certain that I would propose as a board member immediately would be a very good survey to find out exactly what everybody wants. How do we use this club? What do we need? What do you expect? And from there, we could go forward with a long and short-term plan that could be presented to you. Now, these 5 questions, I don't have time to go into those in detail. I'm going to be in there. If you want to talk to them about me, that's fine. Or with me, that's fine. I'll encourage that. Obviously, decisions that affect us for large indebtedness or anything long-term needs to be made by the population. It needs to be made by the membership. The board is useful in collecting information, maybe making proposals, but anything that is going to be long-lasting or involve large indebtedness needs to be approved by the membership. My survey, when I turned in, will reveal I came here because I love to play golf, and this is a premier golf facility. That to me means great golf courses, which we have, in really good condition, and my access to those. All right, more than 600 members. He's really cutting into that access, and so I think I'd be against that. As far as any changes to the golf courses and the clubhouse, I just don't know enough to make any really definite proposals on that one way or another. So thank you very much. I'm running over. Please come talk to me and right next door. Dessert.
Mike Nigro.
Thanks, Rosemary. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I'm just going to respond to the 5 questions. So on adding memberships, I actually would consider another 20 members, but only if we could get $2 to $3 million for it. And I mean it. They may want that, because the money could be used for capital improvements which are needed. As for the vision for the golf courses and the clubhouse, first of all, we need to bring our aging talent course back to the jewel it was. Secondly, we eventually will need to make minor modifications to the Eagle course in order to make it more playable for everybody. Third, we need to eventually make upgrades and modifications to our facilities, which are not designed for our current and or future membership. Now the real issues, when, which options, how much, can we perform within our operating budget? Do we need additional financial options? These are issues that are clearly causing pain and divide in our membership. The reality is that we don't have the data to respond to these issues. The fact is that we must take the time to analyze and understand what we are today and what our baseline costs will be moving forward. That said, I will say 3 things. We cannot compromise the golf courses. We cannot compromise our financials. We must do both together. If we don't, we will run the risk that our personal assets will diminish and TwinEagles will become average. On whether a management or a GM, I've seen both work effectively. We clearly need to understand the numbers. Now the $1 million question about member voting. If I answer yes to member voting, that may relieve some people's stress in the room. But then I ask, why are we all here? You should just hire a management firm, elect another advisory board, and then we can all vote on every major decision that comes along every day. Majority wins. If I answer no to member voting, that may increase stress in the room, because that could lead to the possibility of reckless decisions and assessment. I know the answer is somewhere in between, but I will say this: I'm not reckless. I am honest and I'm a realist. I was a part of building and running 2 international consulting companies. I was the president of a board at a large country club in Virginia. I don't believe you can do that by being reckless. I understand your concerns and fears because I have them as well. I can assure you that I will give 150% of who I am to each and every one of you. Regardless of what street you live on or how long you've been here, we will take enough time to understand our situation. We will set up parameters so that we don't get out of control financially. We will constantly communicate and take membership feedback. I will work as a member of your board to ensure your personal assets are safe, your experience here is special, and that everyone from around the world who wants to live in South Florida will want to live in TwinEagles. Thank you.
Thank you. My wife Paula and I live on Lockford. Formerly we lived on Covent Garden. We've been residents here since 2015, and we are year-round residents. To my philosophies and qualifications, first and foremost, I am very fiscally responsible. I believe the board should not make any significant changes without conducting any due diligence, feasibility studies, and most importantly, obtaining member input and approval. I strongly believe that we should have an informed membership. The board must communicate frequently with the members, host member forums, seek input for member surveys, and establish several committees to have and maintain active member participation. And we do need a new set of governing documents. I've dealt a lot with bylaws and covenants throughout my career, and it's important that the final version is fair to all members and that they provide no major improvements without your input and approval. Paul and I bought our home here because of golf. I think many of you did as well. And we had two amazing first-class courses. And I believe we need to maintain those courses in the same conditions that we have always had in the past. And I'm a big believer in that. And in connection with that, we should have a maximum of 600 memberships. That was one of the primary reasons why we even bought here in TwinEagles, knowing that we need no more than 600 memberships. As to whether we should have a management company or maintain the general management approach, I don't have a problem with the board interviewing a couple of management companies to get some insight on what their services might be, what their costs are. I personally prefer the general manager approach. We've received high quality services over the last several years, and I think we should maintain that. It's important though for the board to make sure the people at the top are managing and supervising those individuals. As to my qualifications, as Ian mentioned earlier, I'm a member of the Legal and Bylaws Committee of the club. That committee asked me to contact some 10 to 12 law firms who specialize in the club turnover space. We are meeting with 5 of them in early April, and we will be recommending 1 or 2 of those law firms to the new board for their selection. I currently serve on 4 boards and have served on many other boards in the past. I've chaired several boards, and I understand my duties and responsibilities for providing a duty of loyalty and care to the club. I was a president of a large HOA for over 11 years, so I understand firsthand the bylaws, covenants, budgets, reserves, dealing with third-party vendors, and dealing with personal special interests. I am currently a law school professor. Before joining the faculty there, I was a managing director and counsel of a large Wall Street brokerage firm for 15 years. I was a partner and member of the executive committee of a large law firm in Chicago. And I will thank you for your time, and I hope that you would consider me to be a member of your board. Thank you.
Ernie Cimino.
I was going to read off of this, but I think I'm just going to give you a little bit of background on myself, because you're going to hear the exact same thing that you've heard throughout here. My name is Rory Schnitter. I've lived here since 2010. We became full-time residents in 2015. I've been a construction contractor my whole life. I'm licensed in Massachusetts and in Florida now. I currently still run a construction company down here doing remodeling. As far as the community goes, I am all for status quo. We don't change a blessed thing for 6 months to a year. As far as our community goes, we have the best golf course in the area by far. And I just want to build the community to be the exact same of what we represent in golf, a great community. This building is gorgeous as far as I'm concerned. It just needs some attention because we've had a builder here for 6 years who hasn't done a blessed thing. Holes in our roof, sockets still off from the storm that needs attention. My goal is to help this board do as much as I possibly can. My skill sets is in construction, remodeling. I enjoy dealing with contractors on a daily basis, and that is something we're going to need. We have plenty of adequate candidates here filling their roles of accounting, lawyers, I want to help in other aspects. I want to help in the construction end of it. I want to help in building this community into something better. And I'm going to be finished before my birthday. I look forward to being in the other room and answering every one of your questions as we go forward. Thank you.
Dave Weeks.
Thank you, Rosemary. My name is Dave Weeks. Bev and I joined TwinEagles in 2006, and I spent the first 6 years while Bev was here at TwinEagles lying down on airplanes about every other weekend or so that I could play golf once in a while. We fell in love with the community, and we now live in our third house on Maidstone. I believe that it is important if we want to have a great club to have a great staff. I think it's important if we have a great staff that we thank them every day, that we shake their hand and we appreciate that they are here. I would challenge all of you to start doing that now if you're not doing it, so that we can continue to grow this great club that we have. I am financially a conservative. I believe that my money, I'm going to manage your money the same way. I'm not going to overspend things. I'm going to look at things properly and make sure that we spend money in the right way. I believe that as you look at the board and you look at the candidates, there's a lot of great people here, but diversity is really key. You have to have different opinions to get to a better place. If you have everyone that has the same opinion, you will not get to a better place. You need to have diversity and you need to have adversity. That's very important. I've served on the men's golf committee for the last 4 years, 3 years as the chairman of that golf committee, also on the ATV. If you want to know if I'm a candidate that can get along with other people and can deliver on your request, ask Frank Johannes, ask Jack Murray, ask Bob Brucker, ask the people that I have worked with, ask Nancy Brown. I think they will tell you that I am committed to this community and I will do everything I can to make it right for everyone. I support all types of golf for everybody. I would say to you that as far as memberships go, I don't know if 600 is right or wrong. I don't know if 500 is right or wrong. Our issue is tee time availability. Our tee times are difficult because we are here when there is less sunshine than any other time of the year, and we work off of a tee sheet. We don't work off of crossovers every day, and we don't work off of shotguns. Shotguns deliver 100 more rounds of golf per course per day. We have to look at all of that. So therefore, I'm not sure what the right number of golf memberships is. I will tell you that I believe that the talent needs work. I have the original plans that I've had for some time, given to me by Al Jones. There are differences there, and there are things that need to be done. As far as the clubhouse, you know, we need some things done here, some paint, some furniture, and things like that. I appreciate being here at TwinEagles. I ask you for your vote. I ask you to ask other people what you think my responsibilities can be and what I can deliver. If I am not elected to the board, I will support the board in any way that I can possibly can. And in closing, I would like to just put out a thank you to Anthony Sullivan for allowing us to have this board of elections.
Leslie Cassiero.
Try to keep this short, since listening for the past hour, I'm starting to wonder who said what, and I'm sure everybody wants to get far. So we'll soon be taking over control of our club. It's an exciting and challenging time for us. I'd like to thank the Advisory Transition Board for all the work they're doing, and hopefully their work will make it easier for the Board of Directors that is elected. I've been a full-time resident of Florida for 28 years and a full-time resident of TwinEagles for almost 5 years. Steve and I moved into TwinEagles because we liked the natural setting, the 2 quality golf courses, and the promise that there would be a maximum of 600 golf memberships. After we moved in, we found it's a very friendly community and we really enjoy living here. I have owned and operated a successful general contracting company in Florida for 16 years and built over 400 homes in Lee and Collier counties. I've dealt with government, environmental regulations and entities, and I know what it takes to run a successful business. And this club should be run as a business. I've submitted myself as candidate for the board of directors because I feel strongly that we, the membership, need to be fiscally responsible and financially solvent in maintaining the quality and lifestyle of a premier golf club community. Now to address the questions set forth by the nominating committee, I was assured when we bought, as I believe we all were, that the golf membership would be capped at 600. I do not want this to change. Those who have tried to get tee times during this season know how difficult it has been at times. This is the maximum number of golf memberships we all agreed to when we bought here. I also don't see any reason to change the categories of memberships at this time. The clubhouse was not built to accommodate the numbers that we have. But for the 5 or 6 functions a year that actually sell out, do we need to incur a substantial cost involved to enlarge or replace the clubhouse at this time? I don't think that is something that needs to be done in the immediate future. We need to first determine what our costs are and establish operating budgets. I feel the same about the golf courses. Any major work to either course should be prioritized until we know the actual costs of running the club are. I'd love to have pristine golf courses and to have those 3 nasty holes on the Eagle modified, but I don't feel that needs to be done immediately. Although we have the club's previous year's financials from Ronto, a balance sheet and income statement don't give us enough detail to see where the monies are being spent. As I've said, I don't think we should take on any major renovations or projects for at least a year, preferably 2 years, at which point we will know what our actual costs are to run the club. I would also like to see us set up reserves to cover any unexpected expenses like Hurricane Irma. I'm in favor of utilizing a management company. I believe a management company will bring with them more expertise and experience than we will get from one individual. There are many management companies out there. I do support having members vote on any significant club changes, expenditures, or assessments. I would like to see a requirement added to the membership plan. Thank you.
Vic Hancock.
Thanks, Rosemary. My name is Vic Hancock, and I'm the 22nd, if anybody's not keeping track, of 23 candidates. A little bit of my information has already been presented, but that's okay, I'll go over it again. I'm going to take a little bit different whack. I'm going to tell you what I hope the process is from here forward as this new board takes its position. Late April, we're going to have an election. I would hope after those election results are done, we would immediately get that group to organize itself, and the first chore out of the barrel is going to be to hire legal counsel to represent our membership during this transition. The first chore for that legal counsel, once it's on board, is to register us as a Florida legal entity and provide us the basis to move forward. So once that's done, I think the next chore is that the board of directors is going to have to begin the process to shape our vision for TwinEagles. The most important input in shaping that vision is going to be from the members. Combinations of surveys, committee feedback, direct input to the board, any information we can get our arms around, and that's going to be an ongoing effort. Am I done already? Can you start over, Nancy? All right, in addition to that, I'll wait for the next bell, I guess. In addition to that, we're going to have to analyze our financial position. We're going to need a finance committee of capable members and maybe some outside resource to drill down in our numbers and to check all of our go-forward assumptions. 2018 indications are for about $100,000 in the black finish. 2019, I hope we can do a lot better. We'll eliminate some of the costs that Ronto has in the formula right now. And I would hope our operational cash flow, when you add another 40 to 50 members by next year, would be able to support ongoing operational cash needs and some capital expenditures. Facility evaluations, we're going to need to start that process. Before we get this transition done, we're going to need to bring in consulting engineers and EPA inspection folks, and they're going to have to assess our facilities. That's going to be part of our due diligence and probably done later on this year. I think we also ought to assess our golf courses. It's been mentioned by many people. Bernie mentioned bringing in the people from Jack Nicklaus Design Group. I would support that. That can be done for very little money. We also have on file some of the suggestions from the Smyers group about modifications that could be done to make the Eagle more playable. 30 seconds, oh, okay. So anyway, we need to develop a list of facilities, maintenance, and improvement projects and match it to funds available and members' priorities. So one other thing along the way, we need to develop governance documentation. That includes rules and regulations, bylaws, and a revised membership agreement. That'll need approval of the board of directors, our legal staff, and our members as well. So with that, I'll just say, lastly, don't ring my bell yet. I think she rang my bell. Our objective is to achieve a vision from this board that exceeds and meets all of our members' expectations. That's the bottom line. Thank you very much.
Last but not least is Bob Gilchrist.
Everybody ought to be smiling now. All right, folks, my name is Bob Gilchrist. My wife Sandy and I live on Dundee. We've lived here since 16. You can look at my resume, if you will, and you can see my background. I would bring to this membership a financial background and country club experience on boards. So I've seen a lot in my career, and I hope that'll help you. First of all, I say the first thing we do is we're about to take a $10 million organization over. We don't know a damn thing about the financial information, I think, personally. I've read it. It just doesn't, it answers, somebody said it right, ask more questions than it answers. So I think we just need to maintain this place for the next year at least, to understand what we have and get our hands around it, and then we go forward. At the same time, we can still have a strategic planning committee that talks about what we need to do on the golf course and what we need to do in this clubhouse, etc. But I personally would not support that today. That's your money we're going to spend, and I think also you get to vote on it. So I believe that the bylaws ought to be very strong in terms of what responsibilities the board has and what responsibilities are on the members to vote for and how much it is, because again, it's your money. I am also of the opinion that we only spend on emergencies in the first year. And everything I've heard about all these consultants, etc., that's an assessment. I don't know where we're going to get the money to do that based on the financial statements I've seen. I would be against increasing the membership in the club, and I would also tell you that I've seen where there have been a smorgasbord of different types of memberships, so I would not expand it because it just creates animosity between members, in my opinion. Lastly, I would not support a management company. I've been through that dance once. They love you when they're dancing with you, but as soon as you sign that contract, you lose absolutely all control. And you've got to remember that they're in the business to make money. We're in the business to run a country club. Hopefully it's going to be right even and make enough money that we can do some improvements. So I would be against that. And I'm all right? Is that what you said? I think I'm over there, right? Is that correct? And anybody, please feel free to email me, call me. I'd love to talk to you. I haven't been around here a long time. I don't know a lot of you except for the folks I play golf with and everybody on Dundee because we like to party. Thank you very much.
Let us please thank all of these candidates. Okay, the next item on the agenda is to ask the candidates to take their time going to their tables. We couldn't fit them all in one room, so from Leslie to Vic Hancock alphabetically, their tables will be in the boardroom, again alphabetically, from Michael Levin through Terry Wynn in the Balmoral room. So candidates, why don't you make your way to your tables? I'm going to ask everybody else just to sit for 1 more minute. 1 more minute. So what this opportunity will be, I'll wait for a minute. Well, may I have your attention for another minute? What will be happening is opportunities for one-on-one conversations with the candidates at the individual tables. Yes, so I'm done. If for some reason you don't get around to all the candidates you have questions for, in the time that you can devote to this today, we understand. Each candidate is willing and very happy to accept your calls and emails with follow-up questions. While we are waiting for them to settle in, the nominating committee would like you to vote for up to 9 of these excellent 23 candidates when you are ready. You know the voting process, and you're going to be receiving notifications and reminding you of the 3 different methods to vote. But the nominating committee, please ask you to, yes? Okay, well, you have received an email and you will be receiving another email. Let me just very high level go over it. It really is a window from Monday, March 26th through Monday, April 23rd. There are 3 methods of voting, and it is totally up to you. It is a PIN-driven, secure system with a third party. The company is called Vote Now. You will have the opportunity for paper ballots, telephone, and electronic voting. Anything else, I would say we will answer those questions after you receive even more detailed information. Okay? So the final comments, I have this from the nominating committee. I already mentioned that we certainly would like you to vote for up to 9 because we have 23 excellent candidates. And then please judge each of these candidates individually and fairly on their qualifications and their positions on issues that are important to you. Thank you all very much. Await your questions.